Hey Meat Fam, welcome back to my channel. My name is JC. I'm a one-year carnivore currently in training for a bikini competition in the summer of 2021. And today we are going over the day 5 recipes from the Carnivore Budget Challenge week. So this day actually marks a historical moment in my own carnivore journey. This is the day that I discovered fluffy baked cloud eggs. So it's just an egg. You separate the egg white and the yolk, beat the egg whites, add in cheese if you want to. Totally delicious without the cheese too. And then you bake the egg white with like a little divot in the center that you're gonna put the egg yolk in later. And then when you put the egg yolk in, you bake it again. And it's like dippy eggs and soldiers without the bread. You just tear off pieces of the white, dip it in the yolk, and it is so good. I cannot stop eating this. Like, honestly, if I could eat one breakfast for the rest of my life right now, I would say it's this. It may be edging out slutty eggs for me. If you don't know what slutty eggs are, I have a whole video about them. Definitely go check them out. They're just a French slow scrambled egg, and they taste like butter. Like, the entire thing of eggs tastes like butter. It's very good. But the fluffy cloud eggs definitely have been amazing for my prep. They're super filling, super quick, super easy. I don't want to say I'm in love, but I'm in love. For lunch, we had a Carnivore Nourish bowl, and Mike and I liked this so much as a pack up that we ended up having it again when we needed to take like portable food somewhere. It's just ground beef, bacon, eggs, cheese, and cream cheese, but something about the shredded cheese on top with the cream cheese, it reads a lot like sour cream for some reason for me, but it's super nourishing and just super filling and super convenient. It's super accessible. It's not a very difficult recipe at all, and I really think that this will help people who, you know, if you do need to meal prep, you could just do a huge batch of this and it would be so good. Finally, we had a cream cheese, bacon, ground beef roulade. I will say that the more fillings you do, the more it's going to look like a roll. In terms of a format, I really like this because it's not quite as dense as meatloaf. Like, it has a much lighter texture to it, but it has a similar vibe to it, if that makes sense. It's like a mixed meat loaf, but it's a roll. And if you wanted to, you could totally put like cheese in this. You could put more bacon, more cream cheese. This was really good, and it was super quick and super easy. That's a theme for my recipes, is I am a very lazy person, so if it's too difficult, I won't do it. So all of my recipes are definitely very, like, I try to make them as accessible as possible. Okay, it's time for my newest obsession, fluffy cloud eggs. You're gonna need 6 eggs and 25 grams of cheese for this recipe. So what you're going to do is get a baking tray and line this with parchment paper. The eggs seem to come off the parchment paper pretty well, so you don't need to butter it or anything, but go ahead and set that to the side. We're going to preheat the oven to 220°, 425 fan. And now we're going to separate our eggs. So you want the whites and you want the yolks separately, and you want to keep your yolks separate from each other. So later on I figured out it's easy to keep them in the shell, just kind of propped up in the carton, but this time I just put them in individual dishes. So once your eggs are separated, you're going to go ahead and whip the whites. You can definitely add a pinch of cream of tartar if you want this process to go a little faster and you want your egg whites to be more stable. I will say that you can definitely overbeat the whites. We're just looking for just stiff peaks. You don't want to go anywhere past that. Now we're going to go ahead and add our cheese. The finer the grate, the more integrated it'll be. And we're just going to fold this in gently. We spent a lot of time getting air into our whites, so you just want to make sure that you gently fold the cheese into the egg whites. Once the cheese is folded in, you're going to go ahead and put these on mounds on your baking tray. I did 2 at a time here, and you're just going to kind of lump them all together and then create little wells in the center of the egg whites. The better the wells you make now, the easier it's going to be when you add the yolks back in. You're going to go ahead and salt these and then put them in the oven for 5 minutes. Once they are done, you can go ahead and pull them out. Add your egg yolks to the wells we made, and then they'll go back in the oven for another 3 minutes. You want to do this part kind of carefully. This is most potential for the yolk to break. If you don't want that to happen, just take it slow, steady, salt your yolks, and then they can go in the oven. These will bake for 3 minutes, and then there you have it, fluffy baked cloud eggs. Honestly, you guys, these are so good, I cannot stop eating them. It's like dippy eggs and soldiers in a dish. Now we are making the ultimate Nourish bowl. So this is going to take 4 eggs, 2 slices of bacon, 250 grams of ground beef, 25 grams of cheese, and 25 grams of cream cheese. First up, we're going to go ahead and fry up our chopped bacon. If you chop it up first, it'll go a lot faster. Don't be like me. Once this is cooked halfway, go ahead and flip it, add your beef to the pan, break that up with some salt, and I went ahead and chopped my bacon afterwards. Again, if you chop it up first, this will go a lot faster. Now that our ground beef and our bacon is done, we can go ahead and fry up a couple of eggs. I did 2 eggs per bowl, and it was really good. I just show the one here though. We were kind of egged out by this point of cheap week. Salt your eggs to taste, and then you can start plating up. So it's just going to be the ground beef, the bacon bits, the fried egg, shredded cheese, and the cream cheese. And it's the ultimate Carnivore Nourish bowl because it includes all of the cheap week ingredients in one bowl. I didn't have a bowl, so I used a plate. That's perfectly fine too. We found that this was really good for meal prep. There's something about the shredded cheese that just works really well on this. And there you have the ultimate Carnivore Nourish bowl. Last meal of the day is ground beef roulade. You're going to need 500 grams of ground beef, 2 slices of bacon, 2 eggs, and 25 grams of cream cheese. You'll see at the end, mine didn't turn out very roulade-y. It's just not very round looking, but I promise the texture is amazing. So you're going to go ahead, fry up 2 slices of bacon, and then I used parchment paper for this and it worked really well, but I just salted my beef, mixed it in, and then on the parchment paper I flattened it out into one even rectangle shape. And this is what we're going to fill with our fillings, which are cream cheese and bacon bits. So once you have your ground beef all flattened out, you can go ahead and spread the cream cheese onto the surface. Honestly, the more fillings you put in, the more it's going to look like a roll at the end. This is just what I had budgeted for the cheap week, but you can certainly put cheese or whatever in this. Go ahead and crumble up your bacon bits and put those on top. And then we're going to start the rolling process. The parchment paper is going to come in handy here, which is why I did it this way. But you're just going to kind of roll the meat onto itself and use the parchment paper to get it nice and tight. You don't want it so tight that it's close textured, but you do want it tight enough that it's not going to unroll when you bake it. I did one final roll in the parchment paper just to get it really nice and tight. And then I covered that pan with aluminum, or as Mike would say it, aluminium foil, and went ahead and baked this in an oven at 180°C 350F fan. It took about 30 minutes for it to be cooked through. Overall, a really quick, easy recipe, and it has a really great texture. So this is bacon and cream cheese ground beef roulade. I hope you enjoyed these day 5 recipes from the Carnivore Budget Challenge week. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below letting me know what you would like to see next, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video from me. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!